Good evening, Rangers. Welcome to Morphin Monday. This is Chris from Cretoni Entertainment, and as per usual, I am joined today by
Bree!
Bree. Today we're going to jump into our fourth Hyperforce Ranger. First, let's get rid of these painted ones here. We're getting rid of blue, getting rid of yellow, getting rid of pink, and then it's time to pick our fourth Hyperforce Ranger for the day. I've already told you what it is, so it's kind of cheating, so we're just going to Marvin's going to get out of there. We're going to be doing Hyperforce Black today.
Yay! Hyperforce Black.
I really liked painting this one. This one was remarkably easy to paint. How many colors do you think I can paint this in?
2?
No.
3.
That's too few. That's too few. Now you're making me look bad. The answer's 6.
What the nuggets?
I paint this in 6. So we got our Citadel Contrast Black Templar. We got our Citadel Layer Eshin Gray or Eshin Gray. I think it's Eshin. We've got our Citadel Known Oil. You got to have your Known Oil. Use the shade, not the gloss. We've got our Citadel Abaddon Black for the base, so I don't even know if it counts as a color here. We've got our Runefang Steel that we've used in all the Hyperforces, and for a splash of red, we have our Evil Sun Scarlet, because there actually is some red on this Ranger. We're not going to use quite as much as you normally see. So let's clear that out. Let's start painting Hyperforce Black, Black Templar first. We want sloppy here.
I mean, is this because you're just layering it all on.
Well, I didn't go this sloppy on some of the other ones for Beyond the Boots. This one I went sloppy because...
Black Ranger?
Well, because I'm not using contrast as the base for the next color.
Okay, that makes sense.
I'm going to use the Eshin Gray as the base for the next color, because this is not a Black Ranger.
He's a dark gray ranger?
She's a dark gray ranger. If you actually look at the art on the cards and whatnot, and I'm sure there's art in the Boom comics, but we don't really have any of the Boom comics that have a lot of the stories about the Hyperforce.
Yeah.
But she actually wears dark gray as her ranger color, probably because the boots and the gloves and all that are black on all the Hyperforce Rangers.
Right.
So on this one, she actually wears dark gray on the right side of her jacket.
She's the charcoal ranger?
The charcoal ranger.
Yep. Go with that now.
So she does dark gray on the right side of her jacket, and she has a red streak, where I did that silver streak on all the other Rangers.
Right.
That's not supposed to be there. I put it on the chest. She has a red one, probably again to delineate the line between the black and the dark gray. Well, sorry, go ahead.
I was trying to remember. I know that in the Boom, or not in the Boom, but in the online play, Jack was because he was an actual security guy.
He was a beat cop, yeah.
Yeah, before the thing. I thought she was actually also one of the students.
Yes,
or the cadets.
I haven't watched all of the Twitch Hyperforce RPG, but I remember all 4 of the other ones being kind of general Time Force cadets.
Right. Because I was trying to think if there was something I thought there was something delineated.
Well, hold on, let me interrupt you for a second. We take a quick look. Well, we already took a quick look of what the black looks like when it's dried out. And we're going to move to our Eshin Gray. And there is a very simple technique I did here. There's also a boo-boo on this model. I don't know if you see it yet. But we're going to fix it later. But we're going to start at the pants, and here's where I get a little more careful. So I'm going to take a fine detail brush, and I am painting the gray around the detail of the boot right now. And just the detail of the boot. And there's a reason for that.
Because those boots are made for walking?
Well, I mean, and kicking putties and Mastodon Troopers.
I mean, there's that.
No, the reason for that is so I can be a little sloppy later. So when I'm blocking, at this point I'm kind of blocking out colors. And this is something I would recommend you try at home if you're still feeling relatively inexperienced with painting miniatures. If you block out your color gray here, so you see I move on to right below her belt now, I've left her kneecaps and thighs and all that unpainted. Because if you block it out like this, now it becomes an issue of filling in, and I can get a little more sloppy with the paintbrush, knowing that anywhere I miss is not going to go onto a black part, it's going to go onto that gray part that I've already blocked out.
There you go.
So we're going to do Eshin Gray over everything. That would be the colorful part of this particular Ranger. So we're going to do it on the torso, the jacket area. I don't know if you've seen my boo-boo yet. Like I said, we're going to fix it in a minute.
No boo-boo.
There's boo-boo.
There's the no boo-boo.
There's a boo-boo. We'll get to it. But you were saying about the Time Force...
I was trying to remember, because I thought that each one, they had a specialty, that was something that they were studying.
Oh, I'm sure they did. It's been so long since I didn't even finish episode 1. I want to go back. I want to go back and watch that. Probably in the background when I'm painting. But I haven't even finished episode 1. I just don't recall.
In the background while you're painting other Rangers?
So if you're wondering if this is going to be the episode that's good... It's not.
No.
It's coming, maybe.
No.
Hope Springs Eternal.
I mean, gotta wake up for something in the morning.
We're going to go with Hope Springs Eternal. So you see, I'm going back to the pants now, and now I just kind of let's just get the paint on there.
Yep.
We're not even worried about that anymore.
It's like painting a room. You do the edging, so you can then go through and do everything else later.
Yes, I actually want to talk about this Ranger in the game and get your opinion on something.
Okay.
I haven't brought it up at our table, but we're finishing up with the gray here, so we're going to be moving on colors in just a moment. So let's do that, and then I actually want to talk about this Ranger in the game.
Okay.
It's about rules. I'm going to get into a deep rules conversation and lose all of our subscribers. So anyway, we've got our gray done here, and you see the boo-boo? We just passed on the boo-boo. The right arm is supposed to be black. I didn't paint it at all, so I went back and painted it between these shots.
Okay.
Anyway, we're moving on to the Runefang Silver, and just like every other Hyperforce Ranger, this is going to be detailing out the diamonds on the boots. This is going to be detailing out the gauntlets. It's going to be detailing out the helmet, detailing out the shoulder pads. I did decide to do a silver streak on her chest instead of the red, and I decided to do that because all the other Hyperforces now have it, and the ones I did, and I want them to look like a team.
Right.
It's going to come back. Don't worry, the red's going to come back later. We'll talk about that later. But I didn't do the red here. I just don't like it on the art that there's one Ranger who has the random red and all the other ones have no detail there. And I wanted to make my minis a little different.
I mean, okay.
But this Ranger.
Yeah.
Her ability. We haven't used her in a while.
We have not used her.
I'm probably going to misquote this ability because we haven't used her in a while. But it was something to the effect of, or something along the lines of, if there are 3 or more enemy cards at this location, she reduces the cost of energy on cards by 1. I don't remember if it was just her cards or it was all cards, but she was actually reducing energy cost if there was a certain number of enemy cards here.
Okay.
I want to talk about that, but not for what it does. I want to talk about it for rules purposes. It has been FAQ'd.
Okay. Oh, has it?
It now says that she reduces the energy cost by 1 when there are 4 or more enemy cards. And I see a lot of people on the Renegade Power Rangers Tabletop Board Game Facebook group bring this up regularly enough that I notice it. And I regularly see multiple people correct somebody and say, you need to look at the FAQ. She doesn't play like that anymore. And I got to thinking about that.
Okay.
I've played war games for 20 years.
Yes.
Keeping up with FAQ changes in war games is fairly important if you're going somewhere you're not familiar with.
The ability, by the way, is if there are 3 or more enemy figures in your location, reduce the energy cost of all of your cards by 1.
Okay, so it's all of your cards. Well, it's all your cards. Of your cards.
All of your cards, not every Ranger card.
Well, that's not the relevant part. The relevant part is they changed from 3 to 4 for what we're talking about here.
Right.
Like I said, I played war games for a long time, and that's important in a war game to follow that, especially if you're going to be wandering into a shop where you're going to be playing pickup games or to a tournament where you're playing with somebody you don't play with all the time.
Right.
And I got to thinking about the relevance of the FAQ here.
And for this game in particular?
For this game in particular, even honestly for war game type games, because we're going to be doing more war game content. We need to do another Legion battle report. We're going to be doing more war game type content. Should FAQs matter in an intimate group, a group that you play with over and over and over again?
No.
Okay.
Because in my mind, I'm playing a board game. Now, in my mind, especially when it comes to your intimate group of friends that you game with, house rules are the way it goes. We have the house rules that we play with the 6-year-old. You know, he always gets that mystical reroll at least once a game.
Yes, the one time you're 6 reroll.
Yes. We've got more house rules that we play with our group of friends. And I don't see us ever being the type of people who are going to like roll up to something like Gen Con or Adepticon and play a tournament game of Power Rangers.
Well, I don't even know if that's a thing, but I actually will say I will roll up and I'll be playing games of this because I do plan on bringing this to the local gaming store when gaming happens again because I do want to show this game off because it's fantastic. Although, and I'm gonna post this on the Facebook group for that too, so I'm probably gonna get crap if the owners actually watch my videos. I'm sure they don't. I'm a little irked that they don't have any Power Rangers on the shelf right now. Oh. They had a box. We bought it.
We bought it.
Then they replaced it, and we sold it to somebody.
Yes, we did.
We sold it to somebody.
Yeah, we talked it up.
It hasn't been replaced. That bothers me.
Well,
It's a really good game.
it's an excellent game.
Anyway, I do plan on bringing it and showing it to people there. So you're going with FAQs don't matter. I agree with you with an asterisk. There's an asterisk that I agree with you on. The asterisk is if you have a group of people who wants to use them, then it matters. If you have a group of people who say, hey, I really prefer to play that way, then it matters. But I think it opens up a conversation. But the conversation ended pretty quickly because you said no pretty fast. Anyway, we wrapped up our silver here. You'll notice I didn't actually finish the silver on the helmet on screen because it was really, really small. I needed to focus. I needed to get closer, and I haven't figured out quite the rig I want to do for those really extreme close-ups yet. But we're going to move on to our Nuln Oil. And if you've been watching the Hyperforce Ranger videos, this will look familiar to you at first.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to look entirely familiar by the end. Because unlike the other Hyperforce Rangers, we're washing everything.
Well, because you're doing a charcoal gray ranger.
Well, I take that back. I just lied. We're not washing everything. We're not going over the Black Templar as much as we can avoid it.
Right, because then it makes it glossy, and it's...
Well, it's a shade color. It's not a gloss. It won't make it glossy, but I have noticed that the Nuln Oil does interact a little bit weird with the Black Templar contrast paint sometimes. And it kind of dilutes the effect of what the contrast does. That whole darkest and the deepest, lightest on the highest kind of gets negated a little bit by the oil. So I do try to avoid that. But we're doing all of the color on this Ranger in the Nuln Oil.
So all of the Eshin Gray, all of the Runefane Silver...
Correct.
Gets covered. I remember my colors.
well done. Again, for that good episode.
Yeah, come back later.
That'll be our episode 50.
Yeah.
Will be our tribute to a good episode. Episode 100, we might finally be there. And I think we're getting a little better every time. I mean, the camera angles are certainly better. I want to improve them more. We're making progress here. We got some comments on the last video.
Yeah, we did.
We did. Not many. We got 3.
But
three is more than 1.
Said if people started commenting,
yes,
that you would paint the Tommy.
Yes, I said that.
We got comments.
Not enough.
Oh, so now there's rules and regulations on this?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
More comments, folks. Doesn't even have to be a good one.
We got 6 comments. 3 of them were from me responding to people. So we got 3 comments. 3 is not even the number of seasons Tommy Oliver has ruined.
Wow.
So.
Wow.
And we just lost another subscriber.
There are people who like him, you know.
There's nobody who likes him. They just say they like him because they're told they're supposed to like him.
Because they're like us and they grew up during the time of Tommy Oliver when you thought that he was the best. I
never thought he was the best.
Oh.
I was never a Tommy Oliver fan. I didn't dislike him as much as I do now as an adult.
Mm.
But it's like Tommy Oliver is... What are the 2 other Rangers we hate the worst? I'm going to pick Wild Force Red because that guy stabbed his roommate with a sword.
That's not great.
And we'll go Magna Defender since you hate him so much in this game.
Yeah, but I haven't gotten to see him on the show yet, so I don't know if
This is true. Tommy Oliver is the Magna Defenders of Wild Force Reds.
That sounded like you had a stroke.
I mean, I did. Anyway, we're going back to the red now. That Evil Sun Scar. So we're going to do the shield. This shield, actually, I kind of accidentally followed the color scheme of this particular power weapon. That's basically what it looks like on the card art. I've been ignoring it for the most part, but this one is about the same. So I did the little lion or Cerberus dog eyes on the helmet, the red, and I did the little eyes on the shield, red. But I also did it on this little raised arrow thing that all these Hyperforce Rangers have on their arm. Because in the art, she has red outlining this, because it's like a dark gray arrow with the black sleeve. And she has the red on the jacket. I decided to do that here. So I'm paying a little homage to the red that she had, but not across the chest and where it was.
Can we talk about how much I love her shield? Like, it's giving me absolute Harry Hamlin.
Well, it turns into like an axe, too.
Yeah, but it's giving me absolute Harry Hamlin Clash of the Titans feels with that shield.
So you're going to turn some Gorgons to?
Yeah.
Anyway, we're into the Abaddon Black now.
Okay.
And this is the step I do on every single video. We're doing an extremely thick coat of the black that's extremely watered down, and it's going around the entire base. It's even going around the rim on this one because this is a Black Ranger. And this wraps it up. We've finished our Hyperforce Black. We're not going back and doing any more highlights in the Eshin Gray because we don't want to.
No.
So this is the end of this video. It went pretty quick. Like and subscribe if you like what's here. If you didn't like what's here, like and subscribe also. Leave a comment, hit the bell for notifications, and we will see you next week on Morphin Monday with Hyperforce Red.
Bye!